comedian. I don't really find his comedy funny, but I find his points to be valid. When he makes satire, much like when I do, well, what he's doing is giving examples back. Like, of course, the fact that there's so many women's groups out there to try to force men to accept fat women as healthy. They're not unhealthy, they're just big boned and things of that nature. Now, he made a comment that was completely off the wall, and it was rude, and it was cruel, and it was mean, and he knew it was not true. But how much do we get that? We get that and if we're told no, we're supposed to accept no for an answer, or we're a stalker. But then if she doesn't accept no for an answer, we're still a stalker, apparently. Apparently it is our fault that we apparently lead on women by existing. Because we exist, we are apparently leading them on that we're going to do what males are supposed to do in a gender role. We're supposed to wipe your asses for you. Well, you know what? I don't have any donkeys of my own. I'm not going to be wiping yours. Now, there's some of you who are going to go, oh my God, you're so stupid. They're not talking about actual donkeys. Insanity. So, we've got a lot of superficial women as well as men. There are lots of women who don't want a fat guy either. It's not just men who find fat gross. Not all men find fat gross. But according to doctors here in the United States and elsewhere, being morbidly obese is a health risk and a health hazard. Especially for a smaller man. We get it thrown at us that men are stronger than women. No, men have more retained muscle memory on average. On average. Because men are more likely to get physically demanding jobs that are physically demanding every day. While you complain about having to clean toilet seats, we're expected to come home after digging up a sewer, declogging 3/4 of a mile of feces sometimes, going out to a sewer plant. We're expected to go to the YMCA, change our clothes, and shower there, and come home in a clean pair of clothes, and pretend everything was fine. We're told it's not okay to look a woman in the eyes, because then we're sexual predators. But then we're told that we're supposed to look people in the eyes when they talk to them. Also, not sure if you noticed, but if somebody glances your direction, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to gawk at you, especially if they're not staring at you. But you get to pretend that, well, there's a difference between that and what happens to me. When people stare me down, I must deserve it. And when I have been assaulted by somebody and 3 days later they're still walking out and about, it really shows the difference. When a woman comes to you and reaches out for help, you get to see how quickly people jump to the assumption that it's a man's fault, that a man did something wrong. Many times when a man does something wrong, you know why he did it? Because a woman asked him to, or enticed him to. There's two ways that a lot of women have learned to weaponize their vaginas. The first one is withholding of sex. Meanwhile, women are allowed to shame us men for not having sex with them. To say we're not real men if we can't get it up because, quite frankly, their attitudes are disgusting us. No matter how good looking they are, it doesn't matter. If you don't get what you want, you man shame us. over and over and over again. It's our fault for being born with a penis. We're supposed to protect you because we have a penis. We're expected to do so. We're expected to believe any sob story you give us just because you gave it to us. And we're supposed to help you to destroy some innocent man's life just because you said so? It's disgusting, but it's reality. Now, there was a comment this guy made. I found it completely wrong, but I also understand why he made it. What is that comment? He said that fat women make children autistic, and tried to insinuate that autistic people turn into serial killers. That is really how the American public views autistic people. You assign to autistic people the traits of serial killers and psychopaths, when in reality, it's a reaction to long-term trauma. We're not people to you. You think we can just turn it off, or that we're just being sissies when we try to tell on our abusers, when it's more rampant than you guys can ever fucking imagine. You don't care. Women are allowed to not be attracted to fat men, but we're shamed into supposing to like. Oh, there's another harassment call from a restricted number. We're expected to date and like morbidly obese women. We are shamed if we don't. Kind of like now it's this popular thing that we're horrible people if we're not allowed or not attracted to men who transitioned to women. Or we're horrible people if, as a man, we're not willing to date a man. Well, I don't want to date anyone. When you want to shame me because I won't date a man, I won't date anyone. Man or woman. I'm not interested in dating. That doesn't make me a pervert or a psycho or a killer or a stalker or any of that. Now, the situation that I've been in shows extreme sexism. It shows the hatred towards the homeless. It shows extreme bias. Assuming I'm on crack. Assuming I'm on meth. Calling me a druggie just because you want to be mean, and that makes you somehow valid excuse to be cruel. You just pick a homeless person and it's magically okay. You just call them mentally ill or tell people they're on drugs. When a male has a trauma reaction, you abuse him for it. You victimize him for it. Just like you victimize children for having trauma reactions. But here's the thing, as an adult, when you're an adult, nobody cares. Those of you who are parents of autistic children, who are looking away and not speaking up loud and proud and working together, you're about the most abusive parents on the planet for doing so, because you're being selfish and only thinking about you. You know your child is probably going to outlive you, and when you're gone, the only thing protecting your child is you. When you're gone, there are no protections in place because you didn't fight for them. You wanted to complain just about your own kid. You didn't want to speak up for other people's kids or other people's who went through it. Laura Nelson and Amanda DeMette could have worked together. They didn't even try. Now, I told the truth through the situation, and you can see how men and women treated me completely different, whether they were law enforcement or personal friends and family. I was treated completely different when actually stalked by Natalie and her friends. When I went for help, I was treated completely different than Natalie was when she pretended to be victimized. And you want to treat me like I'm a horrible person because I had to fucking scream for help. Now, this guy here, I like him. I do. I understand why he made that inappropriate comment. It's because we constantly have inappropriate comments being thrown at us. When we don't do what you want right when you want it, you make fun of our penis size. Tell us we must be homosexuals. We must be gay. And then you go to our friends and family and slander us. Tell them we must be child molesters or rapists because we weren't interested in them. If I'm not interested in an 800-pound woman, I assure you it's not because I hate women. Now, in that one little part there, I assure you it is not because I hate women. But if someone wants to take that last part of it, because I hate women, and they want to post that on the news and pretend I'm some horrible person, because the last part of it could be chopped out and misconstrued, used and abused in a wrong fashion, used out of context, which is highly illegal. And when a judge does it, it is a felony. Because a judge is supposed to know better. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, huh? Not unless you're a public pretender, or a county prosecutor, or a judge, or a police officer. In those cases, you don't have to know the law. You can make it up as you go along based on your bias. Oh, this one has a penis, this one has a vagina. The one with a vagina is on methamphetamines, but also has kids. The homeless man, he doesn't have any kids. He's not on meth, but nobody gives a fuck. He's an easy railroad. He goes into the jail. We all make money. We all get paid for our time. County prosecutors will trade a few homeless people. Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't defend these homeless people, I'll let you have that mother of three who can't stay off the meth. One of those homeless people might be a husband, ex-husband, who is innocent. But she got away with destroying his life because he was prevented from showing it. He was horribly abused and mistreated and disrespected, and you get to see self-advocacy, how I try that, how it doesn't work. They can march right over the legal paperwork. They can march right over my legal rights just by cutting me off from the resources to do so and denying me the resources needed to do so, denying me the rights of a disabled person. And we're not allowed to speak up, or we're horrible people. Me Too movement was supposed to be about all victims, was it not? But it's not. It's man-hating to an extreme. My channel doesn't just show the extreme sexism and hatred towards the homeless by police and the courts. It also shows by our own friends how we are the token friend. We are the token black friend, or the token gay friend, the token charity case, but not one worth fighting for. How many of you in houses ever share the things about the homeless the way that you share about the gay community, about the lesbian community? Meanwhile, you want to ignore the fact that lesbians are the most violent of all couples, statistically. Women are far more likely to kill their own children than men. Women also are more likely to beat their children than men. On the bright side, when Rawlins PD wouldn't do anything at all, and Rawlins Sheriff's Department wouldn't do anything at all about the abuse against Amy Kalina Kingery's kids at the hands of Rayanne Ingersoll. Absolutely, I was willing to go to jail or prison to protect those girls. The fact all the crimes that were committed against me, all it would have taken is one friend to help me to turn that evidence in, but not one friend cared to do that. Many of them said that they would, but they procrastinated, and the cops said I couldn't do anything about it because my friends procrastinated. Until Jared, that's what I got from everybody. Procrastination. Oh, I will eventually. After this, after that. Whatever. You're killing innocent people, and it's not okay. It's okay for you to make fun of our penises when you don't get what you want. It's okay for you to slander us and accuse us of horrible things just because you're angry, because you didn't get what you wanted. Ryan Ingersoll just wanted to get drunk and beat on kids and watch the Bates Motel. Unfortunately, those are kids. Those are human lives, and there is responsibility there. Amy didn't dump that responsibility on me. She dumped it on Rihanna. And I was the one who had to be an adult about it. And when being an adult didn't work, I had to act like a child. I had to act like a child to get someone to do something about physical abuse against two little girls. A lot of the stuff this guy talks out about is exactly that. And his satire is exactly that. He gives you a taste of equality, and you don't like it. You don't like being treated the way you treat us. The highest suicide rate among any group in America is people who transitioned from being women to being men. Highest suicide rate in the country. Because the moment they become a man, they realize nobody fucking cares. And you're treated like you were born a rape machine. Gross.